Good morning everyone. Today's art journal prompt is bloom. Now I've got three colours on my palette to my left hand side. I've got this brilliant purple, which is a Liquitex Basics. I've got the Amsterdam acrylic in sky blue light, and then one of the folk art enamel paints in gold, and I've just smooshed some on and flattened it out with my palette knife. And I'm now going to use my brayer to add each of the colours onto this piece of craft paper here. I started a new journal a couple of weeks ago because the other one just got so fat, but I still had a few pages left in it, and so I've just decided to use one of them. I am going to start off with the purple, and I'm just going to add some paint to my page in a couple of places, sort of smush it around like this. I love the texture that you get from brayering paint on. I'm going to twist my paper round as well and then go in the opposite direction. Like so, and I think I'm happy with how that looks. So turn my paper over like that, and this time I'm going to come in with the sky blue light and do exactly the same thing again. Try and aim for the places that hasn't got so much paint on, like this, and then I can twist it round again and I'm just going to build up some layers. But just look how beautiful that looks. You can twist it round again, and you can fiddle with this as much or as little as you like. Right, I think I'm happy with that. I've got plenty of leftover paint, but that's fine because I can add that to a sheet of scrap mixed media paper. Right, so this time coming in with the gold. Oh, just look how pretty this is. I absolutely love this folk art gold. It's really rich and glimmery, absolutely beautiful. It looks very oriental to me. Right, so I can turn my page around and go in the opposite direction. This is very thin paper here, so it's going to be prone to a bit of curling, but you know, that's fine, we'll deal with it. I just thought the paints might look nice on the brown craft paper and just, you know, give us something a bit different for a change to working on our usual white. And I think I'm happy with how that background looks. I ended up adding a bit more purple to cover up a little bit of the blue. I just felt I had too much blue for what I wanted. So that's my background. And then I've mopped up all of the leftover paint. I've got this piece of mixed media paper here that I've covered, and I've just added the rest to this mop-up paper. So that's what we've got so far. Now, one little tip for you. My brayer had started to struggle rolling, so I've just gone and placed it in a bowl of soapy water. Sometimes if they just get too many layers of paint, they just get stuck. Now I've got some Stays On ink here in jet black, and I just want to add a little bit of stamping. I'm going to use this new Kaiser Craft dictionary pages stamp, if I can work out which way up it goes. I think it's that way. Let me just see. Yeah, that looks right to me. And I'm just going to add a little bit of stamping to the background, not too much. Have some off the page, like so. So it just looks a little bit more random. Try not to overthink it, says me, who's absolutely classic at overthinking absolutely everything these days. Right, there we go, that will do nicely. And then I think, right, I'm going to give this a dry and then grab a couple of colours of Distress Oxide. I add a bit of stamping with this Oriental stamp here. It's from this set. I picked this up at the scrap store. I've had some fantastic bargains, as many of you know. So I'm just dipping this into the Wilted Violet Distress Oxides, and I'm just going to add a bit of detail to the background, like so. I don't want too much. Sorry about that. That was Alex on the phone. We're bringing him home tomorrow because uni has finished for this year, so he'll be home for 4 months. Right, I'm going to do the same thing now with broken china. So I'm just going to add a little bit of stamping with that. As I say, trying not to overthink it. I think that's fine. I think I'm happy with that. And Distress Oxides takes a little bit longer to dry, so I'm just going to zap this with the heat gun before we move on to the next stage. It's had a good dry now. You can see that the pages are curling, but that's fine. By the time we glue it in, it really won't matter. Now I've drawn a vase. That's what I've got, and I've drawn it by drawing my shape onto a piece of mixed media paper and then cutting it out, and that way I end up with a symmetrical vase. You can just see where I've popped it down there on my page, and I think I want it slightly off center, like that. I've got a croaky voice this morning, it's driving me mad. And I'm going to draw around the outline of my vase, and then I'm going to paint it in gold. So we'll do that. I want it bold enough so that I can actually see the outline. We'll be covering it up with paint anyway. But I'm just not very good at drawing, especially when I've got to get something symmetrical. So this for me was the easiest way to do it. Now what have I done with my paintbrush? Right, okay. So I'm going to put some of my gold paint out onto my mat. Oh, whoops daisy. And then I'm just going to follow the line that I've drawn here, and it's probably going to take a couple of coats to get a good coverage of this, because of course my background is quite dark. So I'm going to do this off camera, but as I say, I'm just following the lines, and I'll give it 2 or 3 coats until I've got an even coverage. Now, I've just realised that I've got some of the Distress Oxides here, and they're water reactive. So before I go over with the gold paint, I'm just going to wipe that off, because it will just react to the paint. There we go, and now it's gone. My vase has had 3 coats of the gold paint, so I've got quite a nice coverage there. Just look how sparkly that is. It's just really beautiful. And I've taken my template and I've drawn it out on a piece of plain paper, and I've cut out the shape so that I've got a mask. And what I want to do is add some detailing to my vase. So I'm going to pop that over like that. And then I've got this stencil here. This was one of the home decorating stencils from one of our DIY shops. It was from Homebase a while ago. This was one of the first stencils that I bought. Let me just move that up a bit so that you can see. And then I've got some of my purple Inca Gold, which I'm going to use as a modelling paste. This is the violet, and I hope this works. So I've put some out on my mat, and I am just going to scrape it through the circles here until I've got a nice even coverage. I don't want to use this top bit here because I think the holes are too small, and I'm not sure whether that would work, whereas the holes in this part at the bottom are slightly bigger, so that's why I'm using that. Right, here we go. So that looks like a decent coverage to me. Let's make sure we've got it nicely smoothed off. Oh dear, right, come on. Right, okay, let's peel it off. Keep your fingers crossed. Oh, there we go, that's worked. Let's peel. In fact, no, I think I'll leave it there. What I'm going to do now is just clean up here, and then I'm going to add a bit more at the top. Clean that off with a baby wipe at my desk, and let me just hold that in place. And I think I want to add just a little bit more stenciling just here, like that. There we go. Whoops, move that out of the way. Am I happy with the positioning? Maybe there. So I'm going to do the same thing again here. The Inca Gold is quite stiff, but it is doable, and you get a really nice effect. Right, there we go. Let's lift that off. And there we are. Right, okay. Let's do the reveal. Oh, I'm happy with that. Right, okay, we've got a piece that is sort of lifting up here, and I think I'm going to cut that, wait for it to dry, and then I shall cut it with my Stanley knife. So I'm going to give this a quick dry with my heat gun, and probably leave it to dry naturally as well, because I don't want to melt it with it being wax. The Inca Gold has not taken long to set hard at all, and the little overhangs on the edges have just peeled right off. So that's what I've got. To save wasting any of the Inca Gold as well, I've just scraped the leftover through onto my mop-up pages, and then used this with a baby wipe to scrape through there. So I've got sort of a couple of really pretty background papers building up here. Sorry about the curling, there isn't a great deal I can do about that. Now, I want to add some flowers to my vase, and I'm going to use my finger to create my petals, and I've got the same problem here with the Distress Oxides as I had with the vase. Of course, they're water reactive, and I think that it's just going to react straight through the paint. So I'm just going to wipe this off, I think. Let's have a look. I think by the time I've added my blooms, you won't be able to tell where it's left a bit of an impression, but that's fine. You can barely see it, but I just don't want to run the risk that that this is going to react through my paint. There we go. So I'll give that a quick dry, and then we'll move on. I've had a dry, and I've put some of the Silk Purple. This is a System 3 De La Rowney paint to my left-hand side, and I'm going to make some flowers, and I'm just going to use my index finger. Let's have a look. Where do I want that to go? And I'm going to make some petals. I'm using quite a thick layer of paint, and I'm just going to create petals like this with my finger and keep moving my page around like so. Then let's have a look. We'll have one over here. Being careful not to smudge what you've already put down. Oh, whoops-a-daisy, she says, as she gets her finger stuck in there. Let's wipe that off quickly. I've just smudged that one there. Let's just go and try and fix it. There we go. And I'm just going to keep going like this. And I'm turning my paper just so that I don't end up with wonky flowers. This is the easiest way that I find to do it. Right, okay, let's add another one up here. And we can overlap the flowers that are already there, that's fine. And I'm just trying to get a nice shape here. A nice round bouquet. Maybe add some down here. And you can see where I'm overlapping flowers, that is absolutely fine. This is how we're looking, and I think I've got a nice symmetrical bouquet. I really like that, and I've used up all of the leftover paint as well that was left on my palette. I've made some flowers here and just some dots on this piece here. And then I've just dipped my finger in and added loads of dots on this background piece as well. So you can see I'm sort of trying to create lots of pieces as I'm going along. Now I've decided that to make these flowers more dimensional, I'm going to add a bit of white as well. Now the paint is still wet, and that's fine because I'm hoping that it'll just mingle and blend with the lilac. Some areas are drier than others, but you know, that's absolutely fine. And just pretend that the ones on the underneath aren't there. So just carry on adding your shape. I might come in with a bit of blue actually. Let's try a bit of blue and see what happens if we add a bit of that to the top as well. You know, there are just no rules with this. Oh, isn't that pretty? And that sort of pulls in the blue that we've got in the background too. This is how I'm looking so far, and I'm now going to give this a dry because I want layers of the white, the blue and the white and the lilac, and then I think I'm going to come back over the top with some more of the lilac. So I've kept going, and that's how my bouquet of flowers looks, and I just think that's really pretty. Now I want to add some centres to my blooms, and I've got some of the Graduate acrylic. This is the Daler Rowney again in violet, 40p from the scrap store ages and ages ago, and a little bit of white, and this time I am going to use my little finger. And let's have a look and see what we can do here. I'm just going to add some centres to the flowers like this. I want a little bit more white there. There we go, that's pretty. Just to bring these to life. Right, now I've added these centres of my flowers, and I've also added some shading as well to my vase using a charcoal pencil and a blending tool. So I'm happy with how that looks. And I've also added a bit of extra stamping with the Distress Oxides because of course I had to wipe some that was underneath the flowers away. I have also discovered as well that if you tap your Distress Oxides with a baby wipe, it oxidizes them if you don't want to spray. Now I've got a couple of Prima crayons here, white and blue, and I just want to add a border to my page. So I am just going to go over my border like this. I liked the border that I created I think it was last week, wasn't it, when I did this technique, that I am going to repeat it. And I'm just going to blend that with my finger, and then I shall go over the outside then, just on the very fine edge with the blue. And blend that in as well. So I'm going to do this all the way around. So here we are. I've glued my page into my journal. I've had a couple of questions from people asking what I use to attach my pages. I use this super strong red double-sided sticky tape. It's brilliant. I pick it up in reels like this for about 2 for a £5. Sometimes they come in thinner rolls and you pick up 10 for a £5. It all depends. I get it from the craft fair at the Motorcycle Museum that you've heard me talk about. The Motorcycle Museum is just a venue and they hold a craft fair every quarter. And then my quote this week is just going to be a simple bloom, and I've got some Hessian burlap ribbon. We call it Hessian here in the UK. Polka dot ribbon. I got this over the Easter period, and I've printed off my quote, not printed, stamped my quote using this little stamp set here. I picked this up from Hobbycraft or the range. It was only a couple of pounds, and so I've stamped the word bloom onto a piece of mixed media paper, and I've inked around the edges. And I can't decide whether I just want to have the simple white like that, or whether to have this piece of Hessian underneath it. I think I'm going to do that because I think the natural colour of the burlap Hessian goes with the natural colour of the background. So I am going to fiddle around with that and position that on my page, something like that, and that is it. Job done. Now let me just show you the mop-up pages as well that I've been creating. I've got this one here. So this one has got some of the Inca Gold. A piece is just pinged off, but that's fine. Just where I used up the leftovers. There's all kinds of things on that. The braid background I've just been stamping off with my finger, added some flowers, and then I've got this piece of underpaper that you've seen me working on too. And let me just take that for you left to right. right to left, and that's what that looks like. So I've used up all of my leftover paint. Nothing has gone to waste. So I hope you like that. I think this page has turned out really pretty. It's sort of got a very oriental feel, I think. But I hope you like it, and I would really appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up if you did, because of course it just lets YouTube know that you like what I'm doing. And you know, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing what everybody else decides to create for this week's prompt bloom. And as always, if anybody would like to join a supportive art journaling group, I'll leave a link to our Facebook group Art Journal Prompts in the description box below. So take care everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.